hope we're not skipping the whole time. We're live. Welcome. Oh, there we are. Why does it always say we've been live for 6 minutes?
Alright, you guys should be.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm going to start off by reading the mission statement. Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions mission is to connect those with substance use disorder to recovery treatment services. Additionally, we offer scholarships to safe and effective sober living. We educate the public through community outreach and help veterans access premier quality treatment. Our organization embraces cultural diversity and is inclusive of every race, religion, sexual orientation, veteran status, socioeconomic background, disability, and age group. So once again, thank you everybody for tuning in on this rainy Sunday.
Again.
I mean, what else could you be doing, right? Olga, always,
Olga.
Thank you for tuning in. Hi guys, she said. Hi Olga. Oh, that voice.
Oh, alright, there you go. Okay.
And so Rory says, hi everyone. Hi Rory.
Hi, Rory.
Welcome.
Oh.
Oh, you don't like my voice either? Alright, Deb, break it down. Tell us what we're doing. Tell them about the event.
Okay, Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions is going to have a recovery festival in Waltham on September 12th, Sunday, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's a great event. A way to stay sober and clean for a day. We have all kinds of, we have speakers, we have a DJ, kid friendly. Last week I told the crew that we had a surprise for children. We have another, if things work out okay, we have a girl that has volunteered to come down with her bungee jumping apparatus. It's you know, and it's got the cushion things that the kids bounce on so they don't get hurt. We have a food vendor. We have plenty of vendors selling what they make. Let me think of what else we have. I have to tell you, it's really, really an important event. It's welcome to anybody. You don't have to be in recovery if you're just interested in what we do. Any walks of life are welcome in. I do know that in the past we have a large homeless population in the city of Waltham, and they are more than welcome to come into our event. We've had them sit down and early in the morning, give them donuts and coffee to have their day started, because that's what it's all about, because all we are is one bad decision away from it.
That's
and
right.
You know, we could be the same people, you know, looking to get something to eat or a cup of coffee on a Sunday morning. The event is rain or shine. It's a great event, and I know that you'll absolutely love it. We work really hard to make this happen. You know, we get a sponsor for our event. We go out and get donations. And all we do is we just want people to be okay for one more day. Just one more day. And it means a lot to me. I've been doing this now. This is my 5th year. When we first started, it was myself, the executive director, Julie Bunch, and myself, Debbie Cosgrove Moore. I'm the director, and it was just Julie and I, you know, banging the streets of Waltham and trying to get an event going. You know, and we did it by ourselves for, you know, the last 3.5 years, and now we have this wonderful team that Michael will introduce you in a couple of minutes, and we have this team that we're all working together, and we're not just a team, we're a family, and our thing is to always be able to help somebody that's in need, always. Like Michael says, we never want to have to say no.
That's
Michael?
right, that's right. So to go over our team really quick, like Debbie said, we have Julie, who's our executive director. Our co-director is Deb Moore. Our registered nurse is Linda Powell. Our social media expert is Kimberly G. We have Dina Favreau. We have myself, Richie Evans, Mandy McGowan, Tammy Lee, and Jessica Grillo. And now Derek Burns. Z Buns is on the team. So that's our team. All of us are people in long-term recovery. If we're not in long-term recovery, we're allies to those in recovery or seeking recovery. Also, don't forget our Dollars for Angels. So Dollars for Angels are donations that we request, and those dollars go towards our people that are still out there struggling. Our angels are people that are still out there struggling. We want to have money in our fund for when they're ready and willing We want to be able to provide them with a month's rent for safe, reputable, sober living.
Right.
The way we do so is by your donations and some fundraising. We were able to scholarship 5 people last month, so our count is a little low. We want to be able to boost that up again, so we never have to say no when we encounter someone who's in need of safe, reputable, sober living. We request $13 tonight for a donation, and that's Roscoe has 13 years in recovery. Our guest here, Roscoe Hurley, he is the program director at the Cushion House. So Roscoe, thank you for coming. We're
you,
excited
Roscoe.
to hear
Appreciate
from
it.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little
Okay,
bit
excuse
about?
me for a second before you start, there's a million comments here already, so let me just do it. Our boy Kevin Caprio,
Nice.
Yeah.
Roscoe, my guy.
Yes, Kevin.
That's what he said. Shannon White says, hey all, and then she says, keep calm, recovery happens. Debbie, where did you get that shirt? I think I got it from you, Shannon.
Oh, nice.
Olga Gomez said again, it's a sad weekend out here in Lowell, another life gone, sad to say.
Sorry,
I know I
Olga.
heard that news this afternoon, Olga, sorry for your loss, honey. Teresa Chiappa Legero, Mike's mom.
Hey,
Happy
Mom.
Sunday, everyone. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
And Roscoe Rory Sly said congratulations. And Shannon, when I said where I got my shirt, she said yes.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Roscoe, you're up.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the mess. Tell us a little bit about what got you into the field you're in today, what got you to recovery. Tell us about your addiction story. How did addiction impact your life?
Thank you, Michael and Deb, for having me. As you guys already know, my name is Roscoe Hurley, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. May 2nd, 2008 is my recovery date. I'll start off with some of the mess, and I'll get to the good stuff at the end, which is the recovery. I grew up in the Boston area, South End Boston area. Grew up in the projects. I was athletic. I played sports, basketball and probably football, a little bit of baseball. A lot of my friends that I hung around with really didn't play sports, but they all pretty much accompanied me to games that I played. Kind of watched me play basketball, different leagues. B&B, I was one of the leagues. Played for my middle school. Also tried at high school, but I wasn't tall enough, so that didn't really last long, but at least I tried. And I want to say that sports was a huge part of my life early on. I played basketball, I hung around the park. If I wasn't playing basketball, I was at a park, dribbling the basketball, and pretty much, the conversation was centered around the basketball. Kind of fast forward it, I was a single parent household. It was me, my mother, my brother. Eventually had a younger sister who's 10 years younger than I. She was born, and we were pretty much, protectors of my younger sister. Around like 13, I drank, drank beers with the guys in the neighborhood, got a little bit of mischief. I also smoked, marijuana, weed, a lot. I don't want to say it's what everybody did, but probably it's similar to most people's stories. Starting off kind of light, it was fun in the beginning. I stopped playing sports, and I found other things that kind of took up my time. I don't want to get much into it, but there were irresponsible behaviors that I picked up that replaced me from basketball to pretty much standing on street corners and just not being, a good boy, to say the least. I got in a little bit of trouble with the law, and I, went away for a short period of time. And when I came back, a lot of guys that I hung around with, they actually were in situations and they weren't around anymore. I started hanging with different people, and within that group of people, I started doing, I stopped, smoking marijuana and drinking. I started doing heroin. Before I knew it, I was addicted to heroin, in and out of jail. From 1992 to I finally got to 2008. I was in and out of jail. With short spurts of sobriety, and by short I mean very short, unless I was pretty much locked away. I met Debbie. I was in a halfway house prior. I met Debbie. She was the person I walked into a meeting. I seen her. She greeted me with a huge smile. Was always genuinely nice to me. I felt comfortable around her. And it was way out of. I'll tell you, it was way out of Roxbury, South End area. I'll tell you that. But I didn't feel out of place. I didn't remain sober. I didn't remain absent. I went back out, a lot after that. However, this time here, I'll bring you all up to speed. In 2008, I woke up, pretty much laying on the floor of somebody's house, family members that was letting me pretty much crash at their house. I woke up, I had some cases going, no money in my pocket. I called a detox. I pretty much begged them if I could come near. They told me, of course you could. And I remember telling that family member when I was walking out of their house that, this was going to be my last time. I can't do this anymore. And they said, what are you going to do? I says, I know what I'm not going to do. I'm not coming back here. And I got up, and I remember making it to the train, the Green Line train trolley, and I cried because I was worried. I was very worried if I would be able to make it to that trolley and not get some type of phone call or bump into somebody that says, hey, I got one for you. Don't go to treatment. Here's a free one. And the free ones are always the ones that made it bad for me, because when I'd get out of jail and I'd return back, somehow, some way, somebody would give me something. It would be for me to make some type of money, but it always just would be something for me to get high off of. I didn't make any money off of that, and I'll tell you that. And so with that being said, I made it to that train. I was at that detox. It was on the island, back when the island was still open. God bless the island. They've saved a lot of people's lives. They had open doors, and they had so many, services on that island. I know it saved my life many a times. The janitor was there, and he heard me saying I wanted to go to further treatment, but back then there was some issues with my insurance, and I pretty much was going to walk out of there because I was, angry, frustrated, and I probably just wanted to get high again anyway, so that was going to be my excuse. And I remember him telling me if I stayed there, that he guaranteed me a bed Monday when he came in. God bless that man, because he came in that Monday. I waited to call him on his bluff. And by 9 o'clock, I was going to the program out in Weymouth. And from there, I went to a halfway house that I had been prior, probably about 14 months earlier. And when I was there, I walked out telling them that they can give the bed to somebody that needs it. And within about probably 7 days, I was back in South Bay looking out the window saying, I wish I kept that bed. For a period of time sitting there. And so, I completed that halfway house. I went to their sober house. And this is where I want to start talking about the good stuff. I remember sitting in that halfway house and going to the groups. And I remember the house manager. And I remember one day messing with her. I said to her, I'm going to come here and work here one day. And she looked me right in my eyes and said, you can. And I took it as a joke, because my goal was to get back into the Carpenters Union, make a whole bunch of money, and do all these great things financially. And somehow, some way, after about 14 months of sobriety, she called me and asked me if I wanted to work there Saturdays, 8 to 8, and I told her yes without even batting an eye. And at that point in time, I moved from that sober house, and I was living in New Hampshire. And I thank that woman, because I now work in. Can I give it to my?
You can give that, yeah.
Okay, I thank her, because with that job, my co-worker that was my relief person, he introduced me to the UMass LADAC program. He'd come in with his books. He didn't have as much sobriety as I had, but he had a lot more patience with the clients. He had a lot more knowledge of the process, and I kind of looked up to him. And I remember asking him when we was, do a shift change, and he would, he was telling me he was in classes. He was going to get his licensed addictions counselor. I had my GED at that time, and I thought to myself, there's no way I could, get into college, because I just didn't know what I didn't know. And he told me, oh yeah, you can go to UMass too. And he actually said, you'd probably be good at this, Roscoe. So eventually I got into the LADAC program, that same halfway house that I lived at. I never made it to the union. I ended up getting hired in that program. I went from overnight relief staff to counselor case manager. I don't work for that agency anymore, but I worked there for almost 6.5 years. I now work with the Gavin Foundation. I went to the Gavin Foundation working counselor case manager at one of the men's adult houses. From there, I ended up getting a promotion working with the at the Divine Recovery Center. It's in South Boston, 70 Divine Way. And for the past 2 years, I actually am now the program director at the Cushion House. It's the adolescent boys program. We work with 16 to 17-year-old, 16 to 21-year-old boys and girls. There's 2 different houses. I'm the program director at the boys' house, and we have a girls' house. It's located around the corner from there. Since I've been in the process of recovery, I have obtained my licensed addictions counseling. I have completed my associate's degree at Urban College of Boston, doing schooling on nights and Saturdays. Now, in next June, actually, I will be completing my bachelor's degree with William James College. And then the hopes is after, not the hopes, but the plan after that is to enter the master's degree program. And I say those things because, as I told you, I can remember looking out the window not knowing how I ended up in South Bay again, and thinking, how would I be able to not go back to South Bay even though once I get out? Because my pattern was find a way to get out of jail. But as soon as I got out of jail, I was making and doing things that was going to get me back in jail. And so the plan has changed. So like I said, I'm the program director, at the Boys Cushion House program, with the Gavin Foundation. I've been working in the field for, I think I have 10 plus years in the field. And the reward is to be a part of the solution, not the problem, because I was nothing but the problem when drugs and alcohol entered my life. I was no longer, a responsible son, a father, brother, uncle. I was an addict like anybody else, and all I wanted to do was use, and I wanted to find ways to get more, and that meant, doing not the best and most respectable things. But today, through the process of recovery, I'm able to help others and hopefully identify with them because of the fact that I understand what they're going through. I can't say I lived everybody's shoes, but just because I'm in recovery does not mean that I know what everybody's going through. But I'm able to connect feelings, and I deal a lot with feelings. That's the stuff I identify with. And I know I feel good to sit here and talk about my story and not be embarrassed about it.
Oh, that's good.
Awesome.
Then we'll ask some questions. Do you want to read some
Yeah,
comments?
read some comments.
Good.
Thomas Cacavero, Roscoe, my friend.
Hey.
Oh, he even said hi to us, Michael.
Wow, how nice of him.
Gee, thanks.
Thanks, T.
Carrie Ann Cacavero, Roscoe is the best. Great power of example. The Bridge Recovery Center loves you.
Thank you. Love you too.
And then Linda Blundell said, wow, congratulations on your achievements.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. And someone on the Greater Walton page said, great plan, Roscoe. You have a lot to be proud of. Amen.
Yep, absolutely.
So tell us a little what I was thinking of, early on in your story when you said, you started participating in some extracurricular activities and you forgot about basketball. So tell us about how, because same thing for me. It's once I started doing drug-related things or just crime-related things, I lost a passion for sports. Tell us about that a little bit, how it took you away from your passions.
So like I said, I wasn't that tall, but I as far as street basketball and neighborhood basketball, I felt like I was pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't a guy that they would look past to pick. So I played basketball every day. I was on that court. I had a ball. My mother kept me the basketball. A friend of mine's, they'd always accompany me to other basketball courts to kind of, play with other guys. And so what happened is, I allowed flashy things and I don't even want to say it was peer pressure because nobody asked me to do anything. I did choose it. I worked a job. So I bagged groceries at Star Market over at the Prudential from when I was 14 till I was 16. That was on top of playing basketball. I worked at the Cinema 57 movie theater. People may not even know what that is anymore because it's not there if they're not old enough.
That's right,
I might
yeah.
be telling my age.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just wanted more. And I believe that the same with basketball, how I obsessed and played basketball. I'd lay in my bed, I would shoot, shoot the ball. If I was walking around the house and my mother wasn't in there, because she'd probably kill me if she heard me saying now, dribbling that ball. So I always wanted more. And like the first time I saw other people having a little bit more in some, I guess you want to call them better things.
Right.
I was okay with it at the end, but not at the beginning because I knew it wasn't right. Because it affects others. I found it out now. I mean, way down the line. The drugs don't just affect one individual; it affects everybody.
Right.
That's connected to that individual. It's like when you throw a piece of rock at a glass and it shatters. That rock was the problem, but it shattered so far.
Everyone, yeah.
Everybody in that window.
Yeah.
That's the self-centered part of the disease. We think we're only affecting ourselves. What are you bothering me? I'm only destroying my life.
Yeah.
And I said
We've
that.
all said that.
Yeah,
We've all said that, absolutely.
I've always said it.
Yeah.
Can I answer your question, Michael?
Perfect, yes.
Let me ask you, what is, now that you said that you work in residential with the adolescents, do you feel like you're looking at yourself sometimes with the way they act?
I don't.
I would.
So, as a counselor, I always base my treatment on counseling skills. And that's what I'm communicating a story. So I'll say things like, I've heard people tell me that before and I know they've done such and such. Because I don't want to give a whole bunch of my story away because I'm not sponsoring them, I'm a counselor. But I would love to sit there and tell them, everything you're telling me, I've either done it or a friend of mine have done it and it didn't work well for them.
Right.
I mean, again, the players are always different, but the story is the same, and I truly believe that the story will always end. And nobody ever ends up in these situations by accident.
Right.
I believe if somebody's in my program or they're talking to me about drugs and alcohol, it's for a reason.
It's for a reason.
It's for a reason. It's not a mistake.
Something aligned them.
Something aligned. And sometimes it could be behavior, but I do look at them and I say things like, I hear you, but I'm suggesting trying now and saying it doesn't work, then I can try it later. Say, I wish I tried it earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
And that's like my go-to to state. I said, maybe you're right. Maybe this isn't for you. Maybe it doesn't work. But how about trying it? And if it doesn't, then you're always welcome to walk away from it.
Okay, what's the worst thing can
What's the
happen?
worst thing happen?
Yeah.
You still have a lot more time.
Carrie Ann has a great
Yeah,
question.
that's
You
a
want to
great
read
question.
that?
Carrie Ann just said, the UMass Boston LADAC program is awesome. Can you explain more about the program and your experience?
Sure. So I did the UMass LADAC program. I went through Mass Rehab. I had an awesome caseworker at Mass Rehab. Again, my coworker introduced me to her, got me set up with her. It was, I think you had to wait maybe 90 days before they kind of put any funds, into your plan. So I got, they fund the whole thing. I only paid $100 check for out of pocket, and I'm going past it. I just want to explain that they fund everything. And the $100 check that I had to spend was for a prep class that I decided to do on my own. But everything else, they paid for my books.
Wow.
They paid, I believe they would have paid for transportation, but I was driving. Anything I needed, they covered. But the program was awesome. The first semester is on a Saturday. Excuse me, it used to be on a Saturday with COVID and probably like online. I think it's changed some, but it was a Saturday. It was an all-day course. You take 3 classes. I don't remember how long that course was. But then the next set of classes was Wednesday and I think like Friday. They were nighttime. Again, an extended period of time. Then you get those classes. Then I believe you do a couple of electives. I chose co-occurring disorders. Excuse me, that's not correct. Actually, I stand corrected. I did not do co-occurring disorders. I actually did the gambling. Identifying gambling, triggers and things like that. I forgot exactly what it's called, but I'm a certified gambling counselor.
That's a great tool to have.
It is, yeah, for sure. The gambler's course. And then I also did the, oh my goodness, it was pretty much, the course was, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it, but the course was to pretty much work within the court systems. It was forensics, it's called. It's
nice.
a 2-part course. Forensics, but you work with the court system, and you would sit down with a person that might be telling the courts, I did this because I have a drug and alcohol problem. You could possibly sit there and talk with a person and say, hey, tell me why you think that, drugs was the issue. And you pretty much can go back and report to the courts, that, hey, treatment would better suit this person than incarceration. I didn't do the second course, but it's something that definitely at some point in time I will revisit in my career, because I'd love to work and, help out in the courts as well. And then after I finished my classes, when I was doing my UMass classes, I just want to suggest, when I was doing my classes, I was actually working the overnight shifts at East Boston Rehab, and I used to do all my homework, during my shifts. And I'll tell you, I'm not like, gassing myself up, but I did some amazing work, because I still have some of those papers too. But I was working 12-hour shifts, and like when the building, when everybody went to sleep at 12 o'clock, I had to 8 o'clock, and I did some A1 work, and like I really took it serious and turned in some great papers. My instructors were very happy with the papers that I turned in. So if you're working in the field and you're working overnights, and it's okay for you to do, some work like that, I suggest doing your homework then, because you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and you're like wide awake.
Yeah, great opportunity.
I did. Oh my goodness, I did some good papers. At least I did, and my instructors told me as well. And then I believe, I didn't wait long after I took my LADAC, my license, and I did pass it, of course, because I am a licensed addictions counselor. And I'll tell you another piece of this. I suggest, if you decide to take the test, they offer a prep course, and the prep course wasn't to give you the answers to the test. What they did was they had me go to the location where the test was being held. They read it just like it was a test. So you come in, you give them your ID, you pick your seat, you sit down. It's a very professional and intense setting. So like it kind of goes through all that. So like I was very, even getting out there for the day of the test, I knew the location because he used the exact same location. Yeah. So it was A1, that prep. It was probably the best $100 in my career I think I spent, just because it benefited me tremendously. But if anybody's out there and they're interested in finding out more about the LADAC, please feel free. Like I said, they can reach out to me.
Yeah, reach out to Roscoe.
Feel free to reach out to me.
Absolutely.
I do my best to help anybody. I'm in this field to help people, and I'm willing to help anybody.
That's beautiful.
So
you want to read some of the comments?
So speaking about D-Buns.
D-Buns.
That's one of my buddies.
It says, my man Roscoe.
Yes, sir.
And then it says, blessings sent your way, Roscoe.
Same to you.
And then Susan Carter is watching. That's my sister. Anthony Mancini's watching. Anthony from
the bridge.
The bridge.
And
then Derek said again, power of example. He's the boss.
He's a boss. Yeah.
He's a boss.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much, man.
So let me ask you, did you ever think, when you were running the streets, playing basketball, and you went from basketball to other stuff, did you ever think you'd be sitting here today saying that you're a licensed addiction counselor?
No. No, not at all. I actually thought, my dreams as a young kid were to be, responsible. When I started to live, within within my addiction, I honestly thought that I'd be dead or not be alive, later on in life.
Right.
And when I entered the treatment last time, and that statement is the truest statement I'll say, I told that person, I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I can't come back. Meaning I can't come back to doing anything I used to do. And I promise you I've not done anything I used to do before, Deb. I had an ego. I thought I was everything. I had an ego. I was negative. I was a part of the problem. I was selfish.
And you lived by the buts.
And I lived by it all.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. I know.
You better believe I did.
It was like Roscoe,
but
I'm gonna do it my way.
I'm different. My plan will work. You guys just didn't do it right.
Fatally unique.
Yeah.
Yes. And I tell you, I am. When Deb asked me to do this, I said yes. And then asked her what it was. I just found out exactly what this is when I got here and I asked what it is. I'm telling you.
I didn't tell him. It was a surprise.
I knew that it was based on recovery, and I believe I believe that everybody's story will affect at least one person. So if I can tell my story, if there's a room full of people in it, and if I can tell one person and it helps them,
Do your job.
I've done my job. I've done myself and God's job, and that's to reach out to people.
Right.
So no, I do not think I would be sitting here.
No.
You know, I
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
Pine Street, Johnny E. Right?
that's right.
Right?
Good man, Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny E is a good man.
Yeah.
He sure is. 40
Still-
40 years, 44?
40 plus years.
Yeah.
I talked to him today.
Yeah.
I just texted him today. I pocket dialed him.
That's when you were doing construction.
Yes, we were in the
If you
union.
bothered showing up.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. If I felt like showing up,
If
and I
you
needed
felt
to
like
check.
showing up, exactly.
So you talk about working in the field for 10 plus years. So if I do the math, like you worked in the field when you were like a couple years clean,
Yeah.
now or sober, whatever term you want to use, in recovery.
Sure.
But tell us about the difficulties of like being new in recovery and working in the field, because I know that's a difficult aspect.
Sure. So I'll talk about, in this, I hope this helps people. So when I was working in the field, I used to work Saturdays. It was a Saturday shift. I'd punch in, I'd sit down, and I'd like to talk, I would talk to any of the new clients that came in. I'd say, hey, just so you know, I graduated here, and they were friends.
Yeah.
There were also guys I had been in treatment with, or guys I had been incarcerated with that would come. And someone would say, well, I can't believe, so this is where you are. That was a great feeling. And I'd share like my story, about the process of being there before leaving, saying, hey, this isn't for me, give it to somebody that needs it. I've got bigger and better plans. And that reached some people. But the difficulty is, it wasn't really early in recovery, just so you know, Michael. It was once I had a piece of recovery, I still was working at that program, and I started to put my expectations of treatment,
Right.
treatment given,
Yeah.
and people's ability to accept it the way I was accepted it, because when I came in, I was beat up. Stories about my treatment, I would sit there, and the counselor that was running the group one day said to me, he says, hey, you gotta talk. And I said, man, I can't talk, man, I'm too banged up. I said, I promise you, I am not being resistant, I am not being anything but scared,
Right.
because I don't know how to put my words out there. And he said, and he looked at me and he says, I understand, but you gotta start somewhere.
Right.
And every time I spoke, I cried.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand how could a person be in treatment, asking for help, and not be crying, trying to fight for their life.
Yeah. Right.
That was my difficulty.
Right. So you try to identify how are they not crying? When I was in that.
How can you not be crying, especially people I knew their story. There were people I was in jail with, and there were people that I had been in treatment with, or that I knew friends, or so even friends.
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, listen, dude, I know how bad your story is, man. Like, sit down. This is for you too, because it was for me.
Right.
And the difficulties was identifying, not everybody wants.
Recovers the same rate.
That's right.
Whatever.
Not everybody wants it either. Some people want to break, and that's sad. I mean, that's how we're losing so many
That's good
people.
stuff, yeah.
That's how we're losing people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Relapse is number one killer.
Number one.
Number
Yeah.
one.
Okay, one of our team members, Linda Hanley Powell. What is the most rewarding part of your job, and what is the most challenging thing about the work you do?
The most rewarding part of my job is to be available. The fact that I'm available for anybody, and they can reach me, at least for an ear, because I'm not saying I'm able to help everybody, but I'm able to listen to everybody. So that's very rewarding. The most challenging part is losing people,
Right.
relapse, or even just people returning. Relapse or dying, is probably the worst. You build a relationship with clients, you build a relationship with people in recovery, and, to hear that they no longer have an option or a chance, that's the saddest, because, you also meet their family, not personally, but you meet their family from their story. You meet their kids, you meet even, some people have great jobs, so you get to learn them, and you learn some things that they like and enjoyed, and that you now find out that they're unable to ever get back to those things. That's the most difficult part.
I agree. Absolutely, 100%.
You don't have to go to people's house to know them. You let them tell you the story.
Exactly.
You get to know people.
So real quick, we're going to remind you guys of what we do here at Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions. So we help find people access to treatment as fast as possible. We help devise a best chance for success plan for either family members or the person in need. So just contact us. We can help you find treatment at the best level of care suitable for you at the time. We do family consulting. We work with families and help them, urge their loved one into treatment or guide them as best we can. We also provide scholarships for people in need of sober living, and how we do that is our Dollars for Angels mission. So what we ask you for is a donation of $13 tonight. Roscoe's been in recovery 13 years. Angels are people that are out there still struggling. We want to have money in our fund to provide them with, a month's rent for safe, reputable, sober living. So if you can donate $13, please do so to our Venmo account. If not, that's fine too. What else do? We do recovery coaching. We do volunteer recovery coaching. There's no cost associated with anything like that. We're all volunteers that we volunteer for Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions. And we also have a great event that's going to take place, and Debbie's going to tell you more about it again.
Again, like I said at the beginning of the program, Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions Recovery Festival is September 12th on the Waltham Common from 9 to 5. It's a great event. It's a way to stay sober and clean for a day. We have speakers. We have a DJ. It's definitely kid friendly. We have bouncy houses, face painting, henna tattoos. We have a girl that's going to do crafts with us. We're just waiting to find out for sure, but I believe we have a bungee jumping contraption. That's the only word I can use is contraption. And the girl's going to let us know for sure whether she can do that. We have the Waltham Police come over for the little ones, and they do fingerprinting and identification. Give you identification cards for your children, just in case anything was to happen. We have food. We have vendors that sell products that they make or products that they sell, and that's what they do for a job, and they come in and set up tables. We have resource tables, lots and lots of information on how to get into recovery. Once you're into recovery, plenty of people there that you can talk to. It's just an all-day event, rain or shine, and we'd love to see everybody there. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. So, Roscoe, tell us a little bit about what the Divine Recovery Center is for people who may not know.
Divine Recovery Center is part of the Gavin Foundation. It's located at 70 Divine Way. The hours of operation, please forgive me for not knowing exactly. I'm almost sure they open at 9 a.m. and they close, I believe, at 6 p.m. They are open on Saturdays and Sundays. I do not remember the open time, but once again, I believe it's 9 o'clock to roughly around the same time closing. There's a meeting there every night at the Divine Recovery Center. They are fully open, I believe now. They have pool tables. They have a weight room in the bar in the basement. There's a video screen at night. There's times they'll show movies there. When I was the director of the Divine Recovery Center, we always had like a barbecue. We had some type of function. Due to COVID, things have changed a little bit, but they are opening. They are definitely, they just did a barbecue, I believe, the following weekend after Bridge Recovery's barbecue, the Divine Recovery Center held one, I believe it was the 4th of July actually. For 4th of July, there's always events. There's an awesome team of people in there. The team at the Divine Recovery Center are all people in recovery. They're looking to help anybody. They'll lend you an ear. They're a fun bunch of guys. If you look on the Divine Recovery Center's Facebook page, you'll see there's nothing but smiles and there's nothing but, people having fun in recovery. When I first got in the process, I was like all business. I was like, serious as, I don't know, just very serious, and not realizing that recovery should be fun. Recovery is work. To remain, in recovery, and by work, it's making sure you're staying on top of yourself and doing whatever you do, whatever your process and whatever your pathway is to remain in recovery. That's the work piece. But once that's said, it's all about fun. We laugh, we joke. Before this video started, I was listening to Michael and Jessica and Deb, and they were kind of like Josh with each other, and that's what it's all about. Like, when you're connected with somebody when you're laughing with them.
We get separated all the time.
We get separated
Yeah.
all the things we do.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah,
I
because
bet.
we act up.
I bet.
Yeah.
And you know you're connected when you're laughing with somebody. And I believe that that's what recovery is about, and that's exactly what the Divine Recovery Center is about. It's about having fun in recovery, you know, meeting new people, learning new things, and also getting support for things too, because newly in recovery, or having a long history of like use, you may forget some things, and it's okay to ask for support to learn how to get back into those things and learn those things. Like basketball, the running joke is that I'm going to eventually go back and play in one of the sober basketball leagues. Probably not ever going to happen, but I'm going to keep saying I'm going to do it because I got terrible knees and my back is old. But you know what? Someday I will go on the court and shoot some hoop with some guys that are in recovery.
Go with Michael.
There you go.
And that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
and that's what the Divine Recovery Center is about, fun in recovery.
Yeah, nice. Well put. And there's no cost associated with the Divine Recovery Center. You just show up, no insurance, right?
No cost, no anything. You go in there. There's a director, Dave. He'll give you a tour. He'll get one of the guys to give you a tour around the building. He'll show you where the stuff's at. There's always a cup of coffee or a soda. They have snacks. You go in there and you just meet some guys, and it's all free, man. It's if you go there and you're looking to connect with some people, I'm willing to say I can guarantee you'll find somebody to connect with. There's a good group of guys over there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, good stuff. And now tell us about your work at the Cushion House. Like, how does that's like an area of really, I think, critical need is the adolescents, and their lack of resources and where they can go. So I think it's so important. Thank you for your work that you do over there.
Thank you.
Tell us about the Cushion House and what that program looks like.
So the Cushion House, it's a part of the Gavin Foundation as well. The Cushion House has been around for more than 20 years. It was opened with John McGann, Stephen Lynch, and there's another one, I'm sorry, I forget her name, but the three of them, they came together and they decided, to open a program to help transitional age youths. There's a boys program and there's a girl program. The Cushion House has a 45-day orientation period, so when a resident gets there, they're orientated. There's groups. There's about just 3 to 4, 5 groups a day. Various groups. Some of them AA related. Some of them are, CBTs.
Yeah.
Just living in balance. Life skills. Step book, big book. In those different groups throughout the day, we also. A couple of days out of the week, we go to Medicine Wheel, which is a program in the South Boston area. They run like an art program where they bring the kids in. They do some type of art. They're currently working on a place they call it No Man's Land. They go over there. They do some art. It's a place, from what I was told, the place was like a disaster before Med Wheel took over the place. The people using drugs. It was it was just a bad area. From the stories I've heard is Med Wheel took it over. And our Cushion House boys and girls have been blessed to go over there and help clean that place up, get it up and running. There's all type of arts. They have a 12-step thing they're working on now, which are the 12 steps of AA, recovery. I think they're on. I don't remember where they're at now. Maybe step 2. We also, the kids. We also take them over to the Phoenix Gym, which is located over by South Bay. It's over in Market Square area. They do yoga. They do rock climbing. Do any type of
That's
physical.
Dina, right? Dina Gonzalez.
Yeah, she's in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dina Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah. I don't know her, but I know Sydney and Sydney and Emily and Keenan are pretty much the people that we pretty much work with over there. They're awesome with the kids too. Some of the kids a little reluctant because they're not very athletic, but they're so patient and so great with the kids, and we appreciate them as well. And we also go to Rock Spot, which is up the street. It's a rock climbing place. We go there once a week as well.
Nice.
Now, if families have like a loved one who is in need of those type of services, say they're under 18, is there like a civil commitment or anything like that that can happen since they're not legal age?
So we get referrals from different agencies. We get some from motivation to youth and recovery.
Mm-hmm.
We get some of the Section 35 agencies refer to us. We do get some parolees. We've had we've had people from county jails paroled there. And we have had people that was, civilly committed. But we like to get our referrals from type of, a lower level care, just to make sure that the person is medically cleared,
Sure.
for the make sure they're detoxed, or at least just medically cleared.
And you can accept referrals like straight from a detox, or would they have to do like a CSS?
Of course, it depends on availability. It
Sure.
depends on our open beds. We do our best to make sure that people are ready for treatment and get them in there as quick as possible, because we want to help.
Right.
We want to help people. And so if you do have somebody and you're interested in the Christian House, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself or the Christian House. I can give you my number. Is 857. Okay, if I do that.
For sure, yeah.
My office number is 857-496-7358. Please feel free to call that number. It's actually my office number. It's also attached to my email. So if you do leave a message, I'd get the email, and I definitely will get in contact with you, or I'd have somebody that's on staff, reach out to you.
Beautiful, good stuff. You want to read some of
Yep,
those
so
comments?
Sherry Mack said, "Hi Debbie, love you." It's a friend of mine, and she said, "Thank you guys for all you do." Hi Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Hey, sorry.
Keep up that good work with that exercise, girlfriend.
Let's go.
And then Christopher Engelhardt, he goes, "The state needs more places like Divine. We have good treatment centers, but need more centers to maintain that recovery."
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then Linda Hanley Powell, Roscoe, "You have a great energy and a positive outlook despite the fact this is not an easy field to work in. These kids are lucky to have you. The challenging part of the job you described, especially loss, is so difficult and incredibly sad. Can you tell us how you deal with this aspect of your work and what you do to take care of yourself?"
Great question.
All right, Linda.
Thank you,
Good
Linda.
girl.
Right.
Hey, Linda, thank you for what you said, and thank you for that question. That question is amazing. Yes, losing anybody that you're working with and trying to help, it's traumatic. It touches you. Plus, as a person in recovery, it touches me. What I do to support myself, I have a great support team. I have a sponsor. I have a family member that's in recovery, and I have a A1 support team that I can call at any given time if I'm struggling. And I do go to meetings, of course. But I want to say, though, that my support team, as long as it's a legit complaint, they listen to it. But they also call me on if it's just me being me and forgetting who I am and who I am, and who I am is Roscoe Recovery. They bring me down, and within a heartbeat, they also build me up too, and definitely support me and extend their hand. There are many days I get in my car and I have to call my support team before I even pull out of that parking lot, because I got to dump some stuff, because I don't want to bring that stuff home with me, because my fiance does not need that. Yeah, so that's a great question.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
stuff.
You gotta take, self-care is very important in the field. If you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of others. Once you begin to work in the field, and if you work in the field, your supervisor should be talking to you about self-care. Your co-workers should be talking to you about self-care, and you should be making sure you're providing self-care. That's just it.
Well said. Well said.
So
for
I've seen pictures of you with your daughter,
Yeah, my favorite.
and your girl, your baby girl.
That's it.
And how does she feel about her dad? Is she proud of Dad?
She is proud. Just recently, I received a text. We text a lot. She's older. She's we don't hang out as much as probably I want to. Say that. But she sent me a text, and in that text, I'm not gonna say exactly, but it said something to the effect of how happy she was that I changed my life and that I'm in recovery, and how proud of me she is. When I get those texts from family members, and I know those are genuine, and I get texts like that from friends, I know those are genuine. Those are things that I remember and that keep me here. I remember when people were looking at me saying, "When are you going to do something about it?" And now I get text messages that say, "I'm so glad you're doing something about it, and thank you for doing something about it." Recovery is great. If there's a person out there struggling, I suggest going to bed early and waking up tomorrow. I think you'll probably feel better, man, if you just get through it tonight.
Yeah.
Using is not an option. It won't make anything better. And please believe us. I'm going to throw you guys. I'm going to speak for us that's sitting on this table. This panel. It won't get better by using. it might get better within the moment, but it won't get better. It will only get worse.
That's right.
And if you wake up tomorrow, you'll probably feel better knowing that you beat something yesterday.
Mm-hmm. The best thing about feelings is they change, right?
They sure do.
Don't make an impulsive
That's right.
decision that's going to destroy your life drastically over a feeling.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
because they change. In the morning, like Roscoe said, you know, different mentality, different state of mind.
Yep.
You made through it. I never regret a day that I didn't pick up.
Nope.
But I have regret days that I have picked up.
Oh, me too.
You know,
Me too.
so good stuff, Roscoe.
And Linda Hanley Powell said, solid advice.
Solid.
Oh.
Solid advice,
Thank you, Linda.
Roscoe.
Everything's been great tonight.
Yeah, it has.
Great job.
Yeah.
Do you want to remind them again about our brilliant event that you're working so hard to get up and going?
Rockstar. Okay, again, you're probably sick of hearing it, but
No, I love it.
Sunday, September 12th on the Waltham Common, Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions is having a recovery fest. It's our 5th annual. Lots of work goes into this. An important day, but the most important part of the day is the day of recovery. And like I said earlier, you don't have to be in recovery, and if you're not sober and clean and you need to come through the common and you need help from one of us, walk in. No judgment. It's a no judgment zone as far as I'm concerned.
That's it.
You know, like I said, we have a large homeless population in Waltham. You know what? They're more than welcome to come in through those doors and get a cup of coffee and a donut in the morning. And my thing is, if you don't have money to buy a cheeseburger or a hot dog off the thing, I'll buy you one.
Yeah.
You know, don't starve and don't feel as though you can't come in because, you know, you slept under the bridge last night. You're just the same as us, only we're clean today, and unfortunately you're not. But you know what? That might be the first day of the rest of your life if you come into that event. We have speakers, we have a DJ, food, we have vendors that sell things that they make, face painting. As far as I know, we're going to have a bungee jumping. I call it an apparatus because I don't know what else to call it. That's a big 50-cent word, right?
Yeah,
and so we're going to have that. We're going to have face painting. We have a woman that's coming in to do crafts with people, henna tattoos. And I don't know if there's anything. Oh, bungee houses, bouncy houses.
Some cornhole boards, maybe?
Oh, I
Are
think
we doing that?
I don't know if we ever actually made that decision, but I think it's very important
Okay.
that we have the cornhole tournaments, only because I've been at all different events, and I was at the event at the Recovery Center in Malden Friday night, and it was just like, people were sitting there talking, and all of a sudden those cornhole boards moved, and it was nonstop. It was nonstop. I got one, I got, you know, and it was like, nothing was happening, then all of a sudden it happened, right up until we ended, right up until we ended. And you know what was nice? There was no fights.
No fight.
I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of little kids running around, and I think that's wonderful because I love kids. You know, and it was a great night, you know, sitting and talking to people. I met some guys from, what's it called, Easton Middlesex, the house over there.
Halfway house,
You know, introduced myself to them. Met some, you know, every time I go there, I know a lot of people and I meet a lot of new people. It was really, believe it or not, for me, and if you see me looking on my phone tonight, it's not because I'm being rude, it's because I'm reading the messages. But if you know me, I like to be on my phone all the time. Ask my family, they'll tell you. But the thing is, I don't think I picked up my phone once Friday night when I was talking and listening to people.
Beautiful.
That's how intense.
Present in the moment.
I was present in the moment, it was intense. But the one big thing I did forget, thank you, Linda, you're really, really killing it tonight.
She's on tonight, I
Linda,
love it.
you are on top of it. The most important thing that I did forget, we are doing a dove release. They're live doves, and we're doing it for your loved ones that you've lost. And you can get in touch with us. I think we have the information on our Greater Waltham page. If not, it's $45 a dove. And what we're going to do is we're going to put names on for the doves. And at one point during the day, the man that has the doves will come down, and when everything's all set, he releases those doves. And those doves just go up, and they go back home. He teaches them how to go back home. I really would like to follow them back home, because I still don't get that. I still don't get it.
That's awesome.
But I mean, it's just, it's a better way because like everybody knows that, you know, there was a problem with the balloons, you know, birds and everybody choking. I think the doves is
The
awesome.
doves are good.
The doves
That's
are
a good-
really
yeah, that's
awesome. It's a really good thing. We've sold, you know, a few lately, but we've plenty more. We just have to let the man know, you know, a couple of weeks ahead of time how many we need. So, if you do decide, you can get in touch with any one of our team members and you can find us on Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions. And the deadline for the doves is August 13th because we have to give him plenty of time to, you know, to get the doves ready to come down to Waltham.
Good stuff.
Good
Well
stuff.
done, Debbie.
Well done. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, and please,
Sounds
just
like fun.
another opportunity to connect with others. Like Roscoe said, we're just driving it home that, you know, connection is really the opposite of addiction,
Yep.
and like the connection is really the most healing thing in the world. And what better way to connect with some people over laughs, cornhole, storytelling.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some performers, right? It's not just gonna be like recovery stories. We're gonna have some performances and stuff like that.
Performances.
Anthony Manzi, shout out to Anthony.
Anthony from the Recovery Center, he's gonna be our DJ for the
Nice.
day. He's gonna help
Terrific
us
DJ.
rock
Good
out
music.
Waltham.
Yeah.
Good music.
Yeah, he does do good music. Yep, he's gonna help us rock out Waltham.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And we're hoping, we're checking into, which I think is a great idea, social media expert, Kim, came up with the idea yesterday, and we're not sure if it's gonna happen yet, but she came up with the idea that she thinks that we should, at the beginning of our event, after it's open, it's usually open by prayer, and when it's open, Star Spangled Banner. No,
Okay.
the
Yeah,
anthem,
yeah.
our anthem, and
Yeah.
keeping our fingers crossed, we're trying to, I can say it, I don't care, we're trying to get the gentleman that sings the anthem at the Bruins.
Wow.
Who has somebody who
Nice.
knows him,
Nice.
so,
Doing it big.
and like I said
Yeah,
last
yeah,
week, there's
yeah.
gonna be some
Nice.
surprises for
That's
kids.
awesome.
You know, there's gonna be some heavy hitters there, let's put it
So
that way.
Sally just said when and where. So you want to just tell them when
Okay,
and
it's
where one more
at,
time?
Sally, it's at the Waltham Common, 610 Main Street in Waltham, 9 to 5 on Sunday, September 12th.
Boom. Nailed it.
Should we have the Cushing House come out with the kids?
Oh yeah.
With Sunday?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see.
because it was one of the events I went to, yeah, it'd be good.
So in closing, you want me to read some of these comments? So Sherry Mack said thank you. Sherry Mack said we need more people out there like you guys. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry Mack said self-care is so important in the field of human services. Keep up the awesome work, guys. Thank you. Linda Powell said solid advice. I think we read that one. Sherry said I would love to make a wreath for a raffle.
Sherry, you are wonderful.
Contact Debbie. She'll
Call me Sherry, we'll talk about it, honey.
She'll hook it up. Derek Burns, great job, Roscoe. Stay blessed.
Thank you,
And
Derek.
Jesse Lucci said, I'll be there.
And yes, Sally Bernier, yes, it's September 12th. Yep.
All right, in closing, you kind of already did it, but just
Wanna
give.
do the Dollar for Angels one more time?
Oh, yeah, let's do Dollars for Angels. So $13 is our suggested donation for this evening. Our awesome, unbelievable, amazing guest, Roscoe, has been in recovery 13 years. And thank God he's been in recovery 13 years because of all the work he does for adolescents and, you know, people in recovery, his time with the DRC and perpetuating connection and all that stuff. So thank God for that. So $13 represents his time in recovery. Dollars for Angels. Angels are people that are out there struggling, who may need safe, reputable, sober living. We want to be able to provide them with a month of rent to alleviate the burden of expenses and finances early in recovery, which can burden us and be a stressor. So please donate $13 if possible tonight. And our Venmo is at Recovery Solutions. We've been successful with providing people with safe recovery beds and safe recovery home beds, and we also place people in the treatment, all levels of care. So please reach out. Sherry also said, Debbie, you have done wonders for my family. I will always love you for all your help. You are my angel and rock.
Thank you, honey. Love you.
For sure. In closing, any words of advice you want to give to anybody maybe out there struggling?
If you're out there struggling, please feel free to reach out to any of these three people, any of us three people here. There's help out there. and believe you can do it. I was just like you, and I came from, we have some things in common, and if I can do it, I can help you do it.
Wow, great. Well said. All right, thank you, Roscoe,
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Debbie.
Thank you
Good
very
night.
much.
Good night.
This was great.
Happy
Thank you for having me,
Sunday.
guys. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
He's heavy there, but that's him.
Oh, I don't think I know him though, Deb. I'm gonna assume.
He's heavy there, he's very